$75.08. Rubbish salaries, I will give you a breakdown of what that comes, or what that's composed of. Rubbish wages, $91,722.61. Rubbish overtime, $2,889.43. Rubbish vacation wage, $3,876.48. Compactor maintenance, $11,000. Rubbish maintenance and disposal, $209,342.81. That is the hauling of the rubbish to RCI's facility in Barry. We are paying $30 per ton. Sanitary landfill maintenance, $3,449.28. DEQE landfill maintenance, $1,994.47, which comes to $324,275.08. How the figure of $287,862.03 was arrived at for fiscal 1991 was rubbish wages, $89,934.03, because someone has to pick the rubbish up at curbside. Rubbish overtime, $1,000. Rubbish substitute wages, $6,837. Compactor maintenance, $6,091. Rubbish maintenance disposal, $164,000. Sanitary landfill maintenance, $20,000, which comes to a total of $287,862.03. That is what was projected that it was going to cost for curbside pickup to have your trash taken away.
Mr. Burke.
An awful lot of people talking around town saying what I should have gone up there and said, and they didn't. You started this off saying that you have been informed where this is unlawful.
The microphone's Jerry.
You started off saying you've been informed where this is unlawful, but you didn't state.
No, I never said that. I
Well,
said
from
the
what you-
articles are legal. The articles are legal, but not necessarily binding.
You've been informed by whom?
The Revenue Department has told us, our solicitor has told us.
As far as a trash pickup goes there, I don't think the Board of Selectmen have got the authority personally. And if they do have that authority, how far can they go on this realm they're going on? Now, Park and Rec might run into a deficit on services. They might take the park right across the street and put a toll booth up there to offset the cost of Park and Rec. I think it's about time we knocked off the baloney and accept services. And they're not in the salesmanship business. Here's what we made on the trash. We made, who? The Board of Selectmen, the town of Clinton? We made on the trash bag fee. It should be a service, like every other service in town, which is always there. Now, if you say policeman, if I want to call a cop for domestic problem, am I going to be charged accordingly? You're talking about cutting taxes. You're going to start with the ambulances and this and that and so on and so forth. How far are you going to go?
Still under discussion under Article 10. Sir.
Edward Kane, 15 Clancy Road. Mr. Moderator, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you, you should not rescind these stickers. You should keep them. They're for your benefit. And you can see what's going on in this state. You can see what's going on in this town. You need the funds. You haven't got it. 2.5 prevent you from getting it unless you override it. Now, they have not once tried to make money upon you on any of these fees that they have raised. They are for bond issues, maintenance, and everything else. You can't just pick rubbish up. You've got to pay to dispose of it. And sooner or later, the state's going to come along and force you into recycling, which you're doing on your own now. It's in your best interest to keep these stickers. Nobody is trying to put anything over on you or anything else. The money was not there. There was no rubbish pickup or stickers. And the only way you can get it is override the 2.5, cut out these fees, or come back here again and start making more cuts with between the water and the storage amounting to $350,000, more than the $191,000 you cut tonight. Now read what you're cutting tonight. And it's bringing you people closer to more lawsuits. It just cost you last year, because of some of those things, $250,000. So before you make your decision, it's not a matter of money. It's a fair way of taxing you people as you use it. It is not on your tax rate. They can't touch your property. You only pay for what you use. And if you don't use it, it costs you nothing. Thank you.
Any further discussion on the article? There being none, we'll take a vote at this time. Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Conley.
I spent a tremendous amount of time going around in circles with these various general laws referring to solid waste, sewer use, water use, and I feel I have to tell you my opinion. I prefer...
Excuse me, if there is David Wood here, would he please go in the back of the hall with Mr. Welsh? Mr. Conley.
Okay. I went as far back as the Constitution of the Commonwealth, Amendment Article 89 that deals with the governmental powers of cities and towns. And basically it says that any city or town may, by adopting or amendment or repeal of local ordinances or bylaws, exercise any power or function which the general court has power to convey or confer upon it, which is not inconsistent with the Constitution or laws enacted by the general court, in conformity with powers reserved to the general court. Okay. In determining whether a local ordinance is inconsistent with general laws which have been enacted prior to as well as subsequent to the ordinance in question, they must be considered. Basically, as far as solid waste, Chapter 4428C places the authority in the Board of Selectmen to fix the fees. And these fees are not only just for the day-to-day collection, they can be used toward amortizing some of the debt that's associated with trash removal, including the closures of the dump and the maintenance and the ongoing monitoring that goes on at the dump. The same can be said for the sewer use and the water use fees. The general laws authorize the Board of Selectmen to enact these fees while acting in their various capacities. In the town of Clinton, the Board of Selectmen act in all of these capacities. A local bylaw may be deemed inconsistent where it prevents the legislative purpose from being achieved. When the legislature places the authority in the Board of Selectmen, according to the cases that I have read, a municipality can exercise no direction or control over a board whose duties have been defined by the legislature. In these cases of these various fees, the legislature has seen fit to place the responsibility in the purview of the board. Now, rather than giving you an opinion that absolutely in no way can these three articles and the bylaw article be enacted, I think if the town, in its judgment, wants to take the action that's proposed by these articles, the town meeting can take the action, but my caution would be that it's kind of a uncharted area as far as the Department of Revenue, which has great authority over what the towns are finally able to do in terms of their budget and their taxing abilities and so on. If you enact these changes, they will get to either the Attorney General if it's a bylaw or the Department of Revenue, and they will make the final judgment. But the Board of Selectmen and the town of Clinton has retained me to try to come up with my best judgment as to what courses of action should be followed. My feeling is that it would be very possible that the repeal of these various use fees would not be approved by the Attorney General or the Department of Revenue. But if you feel that strongly about it, you could still enact the changes and let nature take its course.
Okay, at this time, unless there's any further discussion, we'll take a vote on, sir.
The only question I have relating to this is, I'd like to know if the town is getting any money from the recycling and what it's being used for.
Mr. Montori.
The recycling program has been going on since June 16th, and we received, for the first 20 weeks of the program, we received approximately $400. It is going into a recycling revolving account that the Recycling Commission has the authority to spend on whatever it deems necessary for the recycling program.
Thank you. Thank you.
Go ahead, yeah.
You said I was going to get the last one.
Ann Friel, 403 Main Street. For what it's worth, I happened to be present on a number of evenings when our Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee met. And I can tell you personally, they anguished over this decision. And it is my feeling, and any one of you, correct me if I'm wrong, there wasn't one of you that thought you stood a chance of getting an override on 2.5. Is that correct? Faced with that, what are you going to do? Someone said a long time ago, there's no such thing as a free lunch. What are you going to do with your trash? You can't keep it. If you could keep it, it wouldn't be trash. You can't bury it because there's no place to bury it. It's got to get picked up. There's no money to pick it up. Now, personally, the 75 cents aside, just the stickers, as far as I'm concerned, are a pain in the neck. I honestly don't know what I'd like better. Somebody give the selectmen, give someone a better option. It's got to get picked up and it's got to get paid for. You can talk all night long and nothing is going to change that fact. What's your preference? Do you want stickers? Do you want bags? Do you want can we override 2.5? Has anyone asked that question? If you get a unanimous vote, yes, override 2.5, raise my real estate taxes, can that be done?
Yeah, but not tonight, man.
So that's only my point. Where does that leave us?
Well, that's why we're here.
And that's it, folks.
Anthony Carboni, 36 Candice Street. Real quickly, I promise. As I said in the letter that appeared in the paper, I appreciate the... Excuse me? Oh, sorry. First, I appreciate the comments from the Learned Town solicitor. Now you know what I went through, and I'm not even a lawyer trying to figure these things out. But basically, all we're saying here, having these articles on, as I said in the paper, is that first, I understand and appreciate the woman who just spoke. The alternative will be that you have to do what everybody has to do in the state, and that means you have to make cuts. The reason the articles appear on the warrant are because many people wanted them on the warrant, many people wanted their vote, many people wanted their say, they wanted the other people to be able to vote with them, for or against them, whatever, all right? But all I'm saying is, and the author of the first two articles is saying, and the people who signed every one of those, is when you vote tonight, I would urge you to vote yes. The issue of whether it is binding or not is not up to any one of us here present to decide. That is decided by the state. It's a chance you take with a lot of articles that get passed at town meetings. The issue is, I urge you to vote yes. The people who are in favor of these articles urge you to vote yes. And it is to send a clear message to this board that's sitting up here, whether or not the state will bind it. They might be foolish not to, politically. All right, but send the message to these people that at least we want to be interested in how our money is spent in this town. We want to have the say of how our money is spent in the town. And if there is a gray area in the law, as the solicitor says, there, you know, and DOR and all these other learned people, what do I know? I'm a scientist, all right? If there are the gray areas, let you people decide. I would urge that you vote on all 5 of these upcoming articles. Vote yes, send the message, get it over with, let the legal people decide afterwards.
Mr. McNamara.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would just like to want to say that myself, I urge you to vote against Articles 10 through 14. Mr. Champagne and Mr. Carboni's intentions, they stated through the newspaper, and Bob just stated a little earlier that he was there when we instituted these fees. That is not true. There's a lot of untruths in today's article, the daily item. I don't want to get into the debate, even though I had yelled out quite a number of places I could have debated Mr. Carboni, but these fees weren't arbitrarily set. They were put in to pay for a service that people use. It's a user's fee. Somebody said it's a tax. Well, hey, if you want to read it that way. 3 out of 5 people come into this town hall last week and voted to defeat question 3 on the state ballot. These 4 questions are, in essence, a mini question 3. 2 or 3 people are going to decide how to run the town. They're not elected by the people, but they're going to run the town on a referendum. Like I said, Mr. Carboni gave you a figure of $164,000 in today's paper. The chairperson, Ms. Dickow, stated what the actual costs are. They run anywhere from $290,000 up to $324,000. We projected $275. We're only going to raise it the maximum $220. Mr. Carboni, the rubbish does not get picked up by itself. We need manpower. We need trucks. All you used for your figure was disposal. You're being less than truthful. In your article, you said that you had 200 names on each petition. That's a lie. You have 147 on one, 190 on another, 191 on another, 192 on another. State law, Mr. Carboni, says you need 200, or 10% of the registered voters, and that's why you used the figure 200. You also said in your initial petition at 1,200. You have 1,026 names with about 85 names duplicated. Be truthful with the people. If you're going to try to get them to back you, at least tell them what's going on. We didn't do this to, I'm paying the trash fee just like 90% of the people out there. At least I pay for it.
I would like to ask the Board of Selectmen, what guarantees do we have that the trash fee is going to stay at 75 cents a bag?
Could you give your name and address, ma'am, too?
My name is Jane Lamb, 76 Walnut Street.
Thank you.
Was your question, Mr. Moderator?
Yeah, the
what
question is
guarantee we have that the trash fee will stay at 75 cents?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
We don't have any guarantee. Obviously, we set the 75 cents, as I stated before, based on 2 bags per household. And the projected revenue at that time during the budget process was projected revenue of $287. Also, you have to understand that we had anticipated starting that program on July 1. We did not start at July 1, we started at July 31. So we started a month late. Obviously, the revenues for that month were not collected. Happily, I can say that the people in Clinton, which this board felt would happen, have truly participated in the program. The recycling program has been tremendously successful. And people have done what they realized had to be done. They conformed to the program, and it has been very successful. You know, I sit up here and I hear people say about, you know, cuts not being made and things not being done, and nothing could be further from the truth. If you take the 1990 budget and the fiscal 1991 budget, there was a cut in appropriations of $514,935. With the cuts tonight that were approved, 191,888, the actual cut is $706,823. This board, in the last several months, has taken a custodian's position, consolidated it, realized immediately a $7,000 savings. We had 2 clerks in the Department of Public Works. There are now 1 clerk. We instituted a policy to stop all in-town mileage. That is an initial savings of $10,000 to $12,000. We are working very hard to do the best we can for you people. Sometimes I think collectively, as a group, we feel like we're almost criminals, because sometimes that's how we're treated. And nothing could be further than the truth. We spend a tremendous amount of time. We try to do the very best we can. We asked you people to elect us to serve you, the taxpayers. We did what we felt was best. We are still committed. We saw a service that was being provided by the town. We no longer could afford that service. Our alternative, we felt, was a sticker fee program, which again, as I might add, has been very successful, and you people should be proud of yourselves.
Excuse me. If there is no guarantees that it will stay at 75 cents a bag, what's to keep you from raising it to another $1 next week or next month or 3 months from now? There is no guarantees. Thank you.
I'm saying no because I want to address that.
Well, first, just initially, I would just like to say that some of the things that have transpired in the first 3 months is realizing that trash pickup has decreased. The town has gone from 2 trucks down to 1 truck. The Board of Health has laid off 1 worker. And obviously, we're making changes in the trash pickup. We're doing things to cut down cost.
Speaking as one member only, I'd like to let the people know where I stand. I got 2 years, 5 months, 17 days, and 6 hours left of my term. I'm not counting. I will never, ever vote to increase the trash fee. I've taken too much bull over it. I still stick with the program, it's working, but I will never, as one member, increase that fee. If in fact it turned around in a year from now and we projected we get more revenues in, I would vote to lower it before, and I will never vote to increase it. That's me.
Still under discussion under the article. Mr. Bailey?
Let the people know where you stand.
Mr. Moderator, Brendan J. Bailey, 21 James Street, Superintendent of Schools. I'll now speak on behalf of the school department and I think on part of the town. Back in June, the town budget was reduced by $1.2 million, and that figure was arrived at by instituting fees or users' fees for certain budgets to operate those programs, thus removing a certain amount of money that was requested to run the water department and to run rubbish. If that money is not continued to be raised, an additional $300 and some odd thousand will have to be reduced again during this fiscal period. Some people have said the school department is going along just as it's been. Well, since June and this budget was approved, we've lost 21 positions, 17 positions that were used for remedial reading, for various support programs, along with 3 other positions that I did not fill. The school department budget has been reduced by $582,000 over its request. That is $460-odd some thousand less than we operated that school department with a year ago. Many youngsters are losing programs. Many of our senior citizens will lose programs if it continues to be reduced. These users' fees are to help all of us. They're to help the fire department, the police department, the school department, the DPW, and most importantly, the citizens of this town. I urge that these articles be defeated.
Mr. Moderator, I'd just like to state my position on this article. I hope that Article 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 are defeated. We, 3 new members on this board, when the board was expanded, we came in and had to take a tough vote to balance a budget right after we took office. The cuts were made, and we were still presented with a deficit. This fee was instituted and voted on to maintain the trash service. Since the landfill closed, we've created enormous impact on our budget to cover the costs associated with that. We've been open and honest with information, meetings. We never hid any information. We never hid any votes. And that has caused a lot of opposition and a lot of interest and a lot of participation, which I think is good. I mean, be proud to be a member of this town who, through educated voters, have participated, which has made this town meeting direct democracy work. And we're here tonight to give this chance for the people to vote on these fees. But it's working. I myself, after a year, would do all I can to be sure that this fee doesn't go up. We're in halfway through a budget year. It's working. We should give us the chance to look at it after a year, to see how it's run, to see how it worked, and then we can make adjustments from there. So I urge that you will defeat these articles.
Ladies and gentlemen, is there anyone who has not made up their mind on how to vote on this article? Then let's vote. Okay. All those in favor of Article 10, please indicate by raising your hand at this time. Thank you. And opposed? Okay, the article is defeated.
Was there a reason I couldn't make that motion?
Yeah, read 11.
Huh?
Read 11.
Article 11. I move the town vote to repeal the water and sewer fee increases passed by the Board of Selectmen or act in any manner relating thereto.
Is there a second on Article 11? Article 11 having been made and seconded to see if the town will vote to repeal the water and sewer fee increases passed by the Board of Selectmen or act in any manner relating thereto. Questions, comments, or discussion on Article 11? Mr. Champagne.
Again, this article was brought forth so that you people could vote on it. This isn't something that I want. It's the last thing I want to get up here and start talking about this. I resent John McNamara saying that I'm here and got this article here for my political motivation. I will tell all of you at this town meeting and those people out there in cable land that I will not run against John McNamara for selectman or any other selectman or any other public office. That was a one-time shot when I felt I had something that I could offer the town and was willing to give my time. And that was it. So you all know it, and it's not politically motivated that these articles are on here. It's because there are so many voters that wanted this on here. Again, if you repeal this one, so be it. That's the will of the people. But at least you had your chance. You voted. The only other thing is, I know there are a lot of, the last article passed, got defeated by an overwhelming margin. I wanted to make a motion that this be a yes and no ballot. There are some other things that pertain to the water and sewer fees, and it goes back a couple of years ago when a revolving fund was evidently set up for the water and sewer that would take care of the infrastructure for the town and water sewer system in the town of Clinton. I don't understand the details of what this is, how much money was there, but my understanding was over $1 million. Now, maybe that had to be spent on other things or something, I don't know. But if that was in place, why can't that be used? So this is your choice. It's not mine. It's all of us. If you want to vote to repeal it, fine. I can have a party tomorrow night and everything's done. Thank you.
Still under discussion under Article 11. Any further discussion? Yep. I have a motion to move the question. Is there a second on that motion? Second. A motion made and seconded to move the question. All those in favor indicate at this time now, please. Your move, no, wait a minute. I'm sorry, I'm rushing too fast here. What you're voting on is whether to end debate on the article, and then we would proceed to voting on the article. All those in favor of ending debate on the article indicate by raising a hand. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. We have ended debate on the article. We will now vote on Article 11. All those in favor of I'll be all right. All those in favor of passage of Article 11, please indicate by raising a hand at this time. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is defeated. I would recommend that we pass over 12 and 13 given the situation, unless there's an objection. Okay? You want to go to 14? Ladies and gentlemen, Articles 12 and 13 are being passed over because they're basically moot issues given the results of your votes on Articles 10 and 11.
Mr. Moderator, Article 14, I move to see if the town will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen or any town commission or authority to implement new or increase existing fees, costs, or charges for services customarily provided locally or for services subscribed to at local option, or to balance the local budget only by a vote of the town at an annual or special town meeting.
Is there a second on that motion? Okay. Article 14 having been made and seconded to see if the town will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen or any other town commission or authority to implement new or increase existing fees, costs, or charges for services customarily provided locally or for services subscribed to at a local option, or to balance the local budget only by a vote of the town at an annual or special town meeting. Questions, comments, or discussion? Mr. Bailey.
Brendan Bailey, Superintendent of Schools. I only question this and I oppose it because I think it's too encompassing. I think it would tie the hands of the school officials as well as the Board of Selectmen, because we have to set rates for fees for such things as school lunches, athletic programs, and so forth, and those are used to balance budget, and we use those figures to estimate what we need for those programs. So I think because of the ambiguity of this article, it should be defeated.
Mr. Coyne.
Mr. Moderator, I oppose this article on the reason that I stated at a previous meeting. When you're talking about fees now, we're covering a lot of departments in this town, and I was quoted in the paper, brought back to me that I had made the original thing, but it had nothing to do with parking tickets or anything. When I'm talking about the police department, do have certain fees, treasurer's office, the building inspector, the selectmen and everything. And I think, and DPW and so forth, to take this away from their hands, we've had one fee increase already on openings in the street that we did change. And last month, if I'm right on the figure, $1,850 we brought in on that one change for the month. So that's additional revenue. And I don't think this is aimed at setting new fees to hurt anybody, but the fees that are out there that we can go after, that's outside work being done in the town of Clinton by contractors or gas and light company and so forth and so on, that we can pick up. And I think it's very lucrative and we should go after it, and I think the authority should be left in the proper hands. Thank you.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor to move the question. Is there a second on that motion? There is a second. You are now voting on whether to end discussion on Article 14. You are voting to whether you should end discussion on Article 14, not on the article itself. All those in favor of ending discussion on Article 14, raise your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The vote is unanimous. We will now vote on Article 14. All those in favor of Article 14 as written, please indicate by raising your hand at this time. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is defeated.
Mr. Moderator, Article 15. I move the town grant approval to the Clinton Housing Authority to construct new housing for low-income elderly housing or act in any manner relating thereto.
Second that, Mr. Moderator.
Article 15, having been made and seconded, is my understanding this deals with a grant application that the Clinton Housing Authority would like to apply for further elderly housing, and they need your approval to apply for those grants, and this is why this article is on the warrant. Questions, comments, or discussion? Questions, comments, or discussion? There being none, all those in favor indicate by raising your hand at this time, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed unanimously.
Mr. Moderator, Article 16. I move that the Board of Selectmen be authorized to enter into a nominal lease for a term not exceeding 99 years with the Clinton Hospital Association Incorporated or any entity controlled, Clinton Hospital Association Incorporated, for a portion of the northerly end of Highland Street or act in any manner relating thereto.
Second that, Mr. Moderator.
Okay. Article 16, having been made and seconded. Questions, comments, or discussion? Mr. McGrail.
Mr. Moderator, my name is Bill McGrail. I live at 5 Nugent Avenue. I appear before the meeting as an attorney representing the Clinton Hospital. The purpose for this article is to allow the hospital to put an addition onto the hospital to house what is called a CT or CAT scanner. A CT scanner is a state-of-the-art diagnostic tool. When we researched the site that is appropriate for this diagnostic tool, we were unable to confirm by town map or by county map where Highland Street ended. The only survey that we had was a 1938 survey that was done by the hospital. It is not an official one according to the town or the county, but it does show that that site where the hospital would place the new addition would encroach onto Highland Street. We're talking about the very end of Highland Street that goes into the parking lot where the emergency room is now. We're looking to have the town meeting authorize the Board of Selectmen to enter into a lease, not to mandate, but to authorize the selectmen to enter into that lease so that the hospital may provide this new service. In central Massachusetts, there are only 3 out of 33 hospitals now that do not have a CT scanner on site. The hospital does provide this service on an interim basis now with a portable CT scanner. The obvious deficiencies are that emergency patients must now be transferred into Worcester to have this service, and patients must wait a longer period of time than is thought appropriate because the portable CAT scanner can only service 6 patients at a visit. That is the reason for this article on the warrant, and on behalf of the Clinton Hospital, I would urge you to approve this article. Thank you.
Any further questions, comments, or discussion under Article 16? There being none, this article requires a 2/3 vote for passage dealing with real estate. Take a vote at this time. All those in favor indicate by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The vote is unanimous and the article is passed.
I made a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second that, Mr. Muller.
Should have made a motion right then and there to take the third year off. They may get more. They may get more than what we